engine power!
I am
You can't keep this up!
Groot!
You gotta do something, Pete!
Yeah, I'm gonna help Drax.
It is what I must do.
Tell me what I have to do.
Hit the button once I am inside. I will take care of the rest.
Okay. I'm gonna have to trust you on this,
Thank
Drax.
you.
You're welcome, buddy.
My family will be proud, and I will tell them of my best friend, Peter Quill.
You're a hero, Drax.
No, I am a guardian.
Godspeed, Drax.
Die, me too!
Wow. Is this really the end of Drax? Did they really give you the option of possibly killing off one of the Guardians? That's pretty heavy if they do. Although it's off camera, so he's probably still alive.
Whatever you did the trick.
He didn't die on camera.
Whoa, you okay? Nice work, buddy.
I am Groot.
Why? What happened? You okay, Pete?
No.
Where's Drax? No. Peter, where's Drax?
He died a hero. He's the reason we're still
He
here.
didn't die on camera, though. I'm not gonna believe it till I
What's
see it
that
on
mean?
camera.
He jumped from the airlock to slow the creature down.
No.
What? He's gone?
Yeah.
We have to go back.
Hold on. We can't go back. We're limping as it is.
Oh, so this is how you keep us together. By launching one of us out the airlock?
It's his call. It wasn't mine. It was his call. I could have refused his wishes,
It'll be a
but I
long
decided
ride
not to.
nowhere.
I'm sure Gamora's hurting because we basically lost two people. We basically lost two people, not only Nebula, but also Drac. Everybody knows this is... So the finale is going to be to use Eternity Forge to revive Drax. That would be interesting. But I don't know if Drax wants to be revived. I don't think Drax wants to be revived. I think that he wants the chance to be back together with his wife and child. I feel like bringing him back, assuming he did die, I think bringing him back would be a disservice to him. It would be completely the opposite. Like, he got to die in the glory of battle. He got to die as a hero. And by doing so, he gets to be back together with his wife and child. And by bringing him back from that, I think is a huge insult to him. A huge, huge insult to him. So I would not bring him back, because that would be a disservice to Drac and everything that he believed in and stood for. That would be an insulting thing for me to do. I don't think I would be a good friend to him by bringing him back. Again, there are worse things. There are worse fates in life than dying. There are much worse things that exist in the world that are worse than death. You have a 90%... I guess it's believable he didn't die since it's off camera, unless they're also in space and he didn't have a helmet like Peter. You have a 90% chance to be alive if you died off screen in comics and didn't walk into an explosion. That's true. Even if he didn't die, we still left him behind, so we might never see him again. And with comic stories, even in death, they come back 2 issues later. Yeah, I know, Rocket. Drax sacrificed himself for the team. How about you?
Man, she looks pretty rough, huh? Ugh. It smells even worse.
Well, we went out through the cold.
Not that I'm surprised. After what we've put her through.
We'll fix her up. She'll look and smell good as new.
Yeah,
We can fix this, right?
not so sure the ship's ever gonna be the same, Pete. Sorry.
You mean without Drac? Is that what you
The
mean?
thing about, you know, with, damn it, Pete. Drax.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I know it must have been tough, but it was the right call. Glad I didn't have to make it. So, yeah.
I think his family would be proud. I hope he gets to see them again.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't really believe that, but nice thought.
You don't have to believe it, Rocket.
His family
All that
would be
matters is he
proud?
did. He. What
Whatever
matters
you
is
have
he
to tell
believed it.
yourself, Peter.
Oh, come on!
Look around, Rocket. There are 2 less Guardians here, in case you haven't noticed.
You need to back up.
I just thought we had a leader who would fight for us. All of us. I just want to hear what he was thinking.
I'm with Pete on this one.
You would have done the same thing.
And what would you have done, Gamora? Because I can tell you. You would have done the exact same thing I did. One Guardian versus the rest of us. That's the call.
If that's what you think I'd do, then you don't know me at all.
Actually, that's not what I... That wasn't how I interpreted that dialogue choice. I thought that Gamora would have done what Drax did. See, I thought... When I answered that, I thought that Peter was going to make the argument that if Gamora was in Drax's shoes, that she would have done the exact same thing. Not that if she was in Peter's... Because there's completely different, 2 different things. So I feel like I would have had a much better argument telling Gamora that she would have done exactly the same thing that Drax did, not what Peter did.
Please, the anger is overwhelming.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you one more time, lady. Back up.
You back up!
I ain't going anywhere.
Don't.
The guy did what he had to do.
Stop it, please!
I ain't happy about Drax being gone, but I am happy to still be breathing. You should embrace that a little bit. That we can stand here having this stupid argument at all.
I trusted Peter to keep us all safe. I thought he understood that.
I can't keep everyone from dying. No leader can. What we do is dangerous.
I know that. But this is one time you could have. We talked about this in the caves, and you still don't get it. And now I have another death weighing on me.
And this one was not your fault, Gamora. My goodness. This episode.
I can't take it.
Yeah, I'm with
There's
Mantis
too
on
much
this one.
conflict with you.
Yeah.
Too much anger.
I'd leave too.
resentment, And sadness.
I would leave too.
Your pain is overwhelming each of you. It's too much for me to be around. If you disagree with each other so much, why don't you all simply walk away? Your feelings for one another are all at
Because
war.
we're family. That's
It is
what
more
happens
than
when
I
you're
wish to
family.
bear.
Well, because we're family. And you don't quit on family.
Like you didn't quit on Drax? Like Drax
That's
didn't
so
quit on all
that's
of us?
really unfair,
Like,
Gamora.
you're not gonna quit until we're all patronized to
Really
death?
unfair. Okay, Gamora, now you're getting on my nerves too. Like, because you thought that was an easy decision for me to make. Do you think it was easy for me to tell Drax, to either let Drax, give his wishes, do what he wanted, or completely go against him? Like, that was not an easy thing, and you're not making it any easier by acting like this. Drax made the really tough call, and I could either support his wishes or not support his wishes. And I think that Gamora is being really... I understand she's upset. I totally get that a lot of it is probably because she's also is still feeling the effects of what happened to Nebula. I get it. She is not in a great place right now, and losing Nebula was horrible, but losing Drax on top of that, of course, is horrible, but not an excuse. I'm not going to let that be an excuse for her behavior right now, because she wasn't there. Number one, she wasn't there. And I'm still standing by the argument that if she was in Drax's shoes, she would have done exactly the same thing that Drax would have wanted to do. And if in that situation Peter refused to let her do it, if Gamora was going to go do it and Peter refused to let her do it, she would have been peed off as well. She would have been peed off at Peter as well. And, you know, so this is why I went into this episode feeling like I don't think I was going to like it as much, because I hate this ridiculous inner team drama. It was never, and it happens in so many stories. It happens in movies, books. You know, it's not just original to this particular game. And I get it. Like, you need to have conflict of some sort in order for things to be interesting, but it just seems really petty right now. And the entire episode, I'm like, I get it. The group is falling apart. The whole family thing is falling apart. And we've been seeing themes of that since really the first episode. And actually, we've been seeing things like this in the Guardians of the Galaxy in the movies as well. So it's not bad when this sort of like story trope, I guess, it's not bad when it happens, but it happens all the time with Guardians of the Galaxy to the point that it's really tiresome. And as someone like me who is like, here we go again, this person's upset at this person, this person's upset at that person, this one's blaming this person, this one's like pointing their thumbs at that one, and it's like, Can we think of something else? Can we think of another plot device or another type of conflict that is a little bit less tiresome? Because it's not entertaining anymore. It's just frustrating. So I'm pretty much with Mantis in that it's getting ridiculous. So that is one critique I'm gonna have with this game, is the whole theme. I get it. They're trying to drive in the idea of family and how family is not perfect and we bicker, but despite our bickerness, hopefully we still end up maintaining the family at the end. And I mean, I'm sure everything is going to be, you know, resolved and better in episode 5, but that does not mean that doesn't change the frustration getting there, and that doesn't change the fact that the story of this particular episode is probably going to be my least favorite of the series thus far. So you should have taped Drax telling that what he wanted. Oh, if only we had that. Did any of you guys see the movie, which is a fantastic movie, by the way, Zootopia? If only I had the carrot recorder, little carrot tape recorder thing. There would be so much like. Things would be a lot easier. Leave her with the Avengers. Poor Mantis dealing with an emotionally dysfunctional team. Drax is willing to make the sacrifice, so I'm not sure why Gamora is so mad. It's because the writers needed her to be mad. They needed there to be some sort of conflict. They're getting more angsty than the Teen Titans, and that's a team of a teenager. Yeah, I think it's somewhat similar to Kenny Lily fights in The Walking Dead. Yeah, the Kenny and Lily fights got really tiresome really fast, and it's great. Conflict is good in a story. Conflict is very good, but when it gets repetitive, it no longer adds to the story, it takes away from it. When it gets to the point that it is not entertaining but frustrating, that's a problem. And that was the issue that I had with Kenny and Lily. That was the issue that I had with Kenny and Jane and Luke in the second season. It just got really old, really tiresome, and you know, I just couldn't stand it. Do you shoot Rocket or Gamora? Episode 5. Next episode will be the Guardians of the Galaxy instead of the Guardians. The Guardian of the Galaxy instead of the Guardians.
Being around you, this is too painful for me. Thank you for freeing me and teaching me that the loudest shouter is usually the most correct. But I must go.
Sorry. We're sorry, Mantis. She doesn't know where to go. Can you drop me off somewhere?
That's gotta be some sort of record. She's basically been chained to us up until now. She gets 2 minutes of free will and we drive her away.
I am Groot.
I am proud of myself in a weird way.
You're
You would
right
be.
about one thing, Peter. We are family. But Thanos was my family too. And sometimes being in a family sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So, good luck.
I'm gonna say, please don't do this.
Gamora, wait. Please, don't do this.
She's gonna leave anyway.
It wasn't me who did this, Peter. It was you.
I wasn't the one who walked away, Gamora.
I got
You
one
did.
word for you, Pete. Yikes.
I am Groot.
What? Why would you do that?
What? What did he say?
Groot, come on!
I am Groot.
He's leaving too.
He's going. He's leaving us.
I am Groot.
Peter, what about me?
I am Groot.
But why?
Yeah, explain this totally selfish decision.
I am Groot.
He says he doesn't want Mantis to be alone.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I am Groot.
That's
I
fair.
have you.
I am Groot.
He knows what it's like to be the last of his kind and alone out there.
I see.
I am Groot.
That's very noble
And
reason
he knows
to
how
leave.
important it is to find someone to look
Yeah,
out for you.
that's a noble reason.
I am Groot.
He says I need to stay and keep an eye on you.
I am Groot.
Oh, man. He's saying a bunch of sad stuff. I love you, buddy.
Oh,
I am Groot.
that's so sweet. I thought they were about to kiss, like on the cheek, not mouth to mouth, but on the cheek. I thought it looked like Rocket was about to kiss him on the cheek. I was like, oh, well, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'll take his hand. Of course, I'm not gonna get mad at you.
Goodbye,
Groot.
friend.
I am Groot.
I'm not gonna get mad at you. I'm not gonna burn any bridges. I'm gonna give the tree a hug.
Come here.
I am Groot.
We're not burning any bridges or any trees here. Okay.
Yeah, just go on, why don't you?
How funny is it that with all of the after all the Guardians leave, Rocket is the one that I'm gonna end up stuck with? Of all the Guardians to stay behind, it would be Rocket. That's kind of funny. Oh.
Oh, Groot!
So my guess is,
Who knew trees had such big hearts, huh?
my guess is, if I had refused Drac, to do what he did, he would end up being super peed off at Peter and would end up leaving. So he would be upset at Peter and he would leave on his own, and then that would also unravel things. So I feel like this scene, the people and the Guardians would have split up anyway, which makes me think that we're probably going to see Drax in episode 5, which is super predictable in my opinion. But we'll see.
What a jerk.
I'm really gonna miss that tree.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Rocket, I guess you'll be leaving too.
About that, I think I'm gonna stick around for a while.
Really?
I mean, it's clear you couldn't get on without me. Besides,
Rocket's
I'm in
gonna
the
stick
market
around?
for a new partner.
Thanks, pal.
Hey, this is purely a business decision. I expect results. Well, what now?
Only one thing left to do at a moment like this.
Drink?
Barkeep,
Yep.
2 of your most lethal concoctions,
I knew
please.
it. Predictable. That's why we love him. Well, at least we still got
Make it
Bowie.
3.
Best idea you've had in a long time.
8 or 9 rounds, then we find Hala.
Hold on. We have some breaking news. Reports are flying in about a violent Kree attack on Jabari 5. Millions are feared dead.
Hey, Pete. I found her. I'll see if that drink maker can pour something stronger. We're gonna need it.
Yeah. Now what?
We need to talk.
Ooh, it's Hala's son. I betcha he's gonna try to save his mom, but he needs Peter's help. Save his mom from herself. Interesting. Oh, the state of the galaxy. Really? Drax is deceased. Nebula is deceased. I guess. I'm wondering. Would the only way for Nebula to not die is for us to convince her to not join the Guardians? You know, which she had to have not been on our side or not been on our team in order for her to stay alive. That's interesting. And according to this, they're saying that Drax is deceased. So why do these guys have magnifying glasses on them? Oh, because it's missing in action. Oh, I guess it's possible for Rocket. Interesting. Okay, so I guess depending on how things went within the previous episodes, if you agreed with Gamora more, then Gamora would have stuck around. If you agreed with Rocket more, then Rocket would have stuck around. Interesting. I'm really curious to find out. This feels a lot like, without giving too much away, this feels a lot like the end of episode 4 of The Walking Dead. Episode 4 of The Walking Dead season 1, because a lot of who is with you at that point, at the end of that, is very determinant on several factors, such as like your dialogue choices and the decisions you made throughout the game. So this is really interesting. I'm wondering, so is it possible, first of all, is it possible for everyone to stay with the team? Is it possible for everyone to stay in the Guardians, or no matter what happens, somebody's gonna be missing in action, somebody's gonna be deceased, possibly? Interesting. I am curious about that if you guys want to answer that, because that's super cool. Wow, okay. Interesting. One last adventure. You and 21.1% of players return to the hospital. Wow, I was in the minority with that. I mean, I understand. I get why the 78.9% chose to have their last final memory. Totally understand. I just don't think that would have been practical. I feel like maybe some people thought it would be meta too. We're being a little meta. Like, we know Peter survived. We know that his mom doesn't pass out again and they end up crashing and the two of them die. We know that doesn't happen. So, you know, maybe they decided to go partly because they're gonna be fine. So might as well have that last memory. But I was looking at it more realistically. So fork in the road. You and 71% of players traveled with Gamora and Groot. I'm not surprised by that, actually. You and 69.3% of players exited out of the back of the giant worm. So 2/3 decided to go out through the colon. Nice. that's kind of awesome. You and 74.9% of players helped Drax sacrifice himself. Wow, I'm actually surprised by that. I'm surprised that 75% essentially were willing to sacrifice Drax, or willing to let Drax sacrifice himself. Wow. The worm encounter. You and 86% of players finished with a new friend. 2.8% of players were hostile to the worm. That's a very tiny minority. And 11.2% of players ditched the worm inside the stomach. Interesting. Interesting. Cool. Oh, here we go. Okay. So yeah, that was that episode, guys. Feel free to let me know what you thought of episode 4. And if you have any questions you wanted to ask me, either related to this game or not related to this game, now is the time for you to ask. And I'll pretty much stick around as long as you have questions to ask me in my Q&A session. So, Drax is willing to... you should have just told her Drax wanted to jump. I would have told her that if I would have told her that if I interpreted that the other dialogue choice correctly. Had I known that the reason why Peter was gonna say she would have done the same thing, if I had known what he actually meant by that dialogue choice, then I would have picked to tell her that Drax wanted to jump. I would have told her that. Because I felt that would have been the stronger of the two arguments, but because I misunderstood what he meant by you would have done the same thing, that assumption I thought was the stronger of the two arguments. But the actual argument was weaker, and had I known that, then I would have told her that Drax wanted to jump. Would it have made a difference? I'm curious about that. If it would have made a difference, then I may decide to go back and just change it. Just because, not because I'm trying to metagame, but only because my intention, if I fully understood what that context meant, then I would have chosen what I felt was actually the stronger of the two arguments, and telling her that Jax wanted to jump would have been the stronger argument. So I don't know, we'll see. They're getting more angsty. The next episode, so the Infinite Mile after, it's good someone's looking after Mantis, being entrapped for so long. I don't know how she'll be able to survive on her own. Hugs for everyone. We might see him again, but where? Millions are feared dead. The planet exploded. Magnifying glass for search. Hey, turn out my mom's super messed up. Then wouldn't Gamora have died if Nebula didn't join? That would have been interesting if Gamora had died. I found episode 4 too tiresome and boring. Sorry, but I did. I didn't find it boring, but I did find it tiresome and annoying. Yes. So much drama. So sad, but good. The Nebula death was very well done. There were definitely parts of the episode that I liked. Like, Nebula's death was done very well. But all of the inner family drama, which I guess is the ongoing theme of this game, was just too much. And it's been done. It's been done. The whole inner family drama thing has been done to death with Guardians of the Galaxy, that I feel like the writers, I give the writers credit where credit is due, but this time I feel like writers, this is sort of a recycled tropey plot that has been done with Guardians of the Galaxy, to the point that you should have come up with something else. I felt like they should have, because it just fell flat. It felt flat for me. Have you heard of Learning Language Lounge? They're a queer vegan YouTuber who focuses on language vids. It'd be cool if you had time to do a Let's Hang interview with them. I'm gonna have to check them out. Thank you for the link. Anything planned for Halloween? Yes. So I don't know if any of my friends are doing any parties right now. If they are, I definitely will be interested in it. At work, I am organizing our first ever Halloween costume contest, so I'm excited for that. I plan on dressing up as Ash Ketchum. And another coworker of mine is dressing up as Pikachu, and then there's 2 other coworkers that are dressing up as members of Team Rocket, one of whom is going to be dressing up as James, because him and his girlfriend dressed up as James and Jesse last Halloween. So that'll be a really cool, I think, group costume for us at work. I'm not sure. There's nothing else planned really for Halloween. I'm just waiting to see which of my friends are doing something so I can jump on board. But good question. What are you guys dressing up for Halloween? That's why he wanted to jump was a separate option. I got what they were getting at. How are you enjoying Borderlands? I am I am enjoying it. I am surprised at how much it is not affecting my motion sickness. It hasn't. I haven't really been having an issue with it, so that's great. Normally, when I play first-person shooters, I get a little, at minimum, a little dizzy, but I haven't really felt it at all. So, and it's been such a. I've had so much fun also being able to play. The best part of the game really is getting to hang out and play regularly with Dylan and Riz and Shay, because they're just awesome guys and I love spending time with them. So I'm really looking forward to more fun with them in the future. There are times when Telltale's lacks of flexible options really show. No wonder the characters seem two-dimensional. They have to obstinately stick to their beliefs. I agree with you, Perfect Portal. I do agree that that is a weakness in the writing and how the games are set up. Totally agree with you. Other than that, I'm still enjoying this game and I look forward to seeing how it all wraps up. Yeah, I still enjoy this series. I really enjoy it a lot. But I definitely think that there are a lot of parts of the series that are hit or miss for me. And when it hits really well. When it misses really badly. So this is not going to be my favorite Telltale game, but I still enjoy it, and I'm still, looking forward to seeing how it all wraps up in the end. How much time did the characters told us their backstory and how it motivates the drama? I think they've done a really good job of telling us about. I really love the Drax focus on this one. It was cool to see the Gamora stuff. It was cool to see the Rocket stuff. The only character that I felt needs more love in the backstory department was Groot. I really wish that there was more Groot stuff in here with his past. Maybe it's because he's the character on the Guardians that has the least baggage. By far, he has the least baggage. So, but I think that he still should have some sort of... I'd love to learn more about him, because I feel like there's so much mystery behind Groot. Just wait till Game of Thrones comes out. Family drama all the way. Yeah, and even that got a little tiresome. But that's okay. Whenever Asher was on the screen, it just made everything better. So, but like in Game of Thrones, they die a lot, so we end up with less drama. Well, that's kind of true. Who are you going to invite for The Walking Dead final season's Let's Talk? That is a very good question. I haven't decided yet, Evan. I don't know. I have not decided. I will worry about that when we get closer to the season itself, especially since I might there are other people that I might have met along the way, like Shay, for example. Shay is someone that I met really recently, and I would love a chance to be in a Let's Talk with him. If he's interested and if he has been playing the games. I think he has been playing the Walking Dead Telltale games. So yeah, I'm saving that until the time being, because I don't know what pool of people I have to pick from. So yeah. I hear there's like a pill you can take before that kind of stuff to reduce motion sickness. I don't know if you need a prescription for it though. Yeah, there is a pill. I try to avoid taking things unless I absolutely have to. My mom is a nurse, so for her, every single time I felt the least bit ill or sick, she immediately was like, here, take these drugs. And I get it, she's a nurse, so of course she wants to fix it, and that's, as a nurse, you're taught to, if somebody's feeling feverish, the answer is normally, here, take these drugs. And I try to avoid take these drugs unless I have to. Even if I'm feeling a headache, if it's a mild headache, I won't necessarily take anything for it. I'll just take a nap. I would take a nap before I took, even painkillers for a headache, just because I want to avoid having to take things if I don't have to, and things like that. So far, I've been able to get through without the motion sickness on Borderlands. Who would you be our ideal Satnav voice? I don't know who Satnav is, Perfect Portal. You'll have to clarify. If you love Borderlands, you will absolutely love Borderlands 2. I mean, like I said, I plan on playing all 3 games, so I'm looking forward to that, especially since I think Borderlands 2 ends up being a lot more story-driven. I want to see a Telltale character who's super submissive and obedient to you. I mean, that can be boring too. If you have someone who always agrees with everything, I think that too has the opposite problem. So I wouldn't necessarily want that. Maybe we'll get Groot's backstory in the final episode. I would love that. I hope that they do something like that. Wasn't Till Dawn as scary as I thought it was going to be when you played it? Actually, no. It was not. It ended up not being nearly as scary. There were jump scares, but I found Slender scarier, honestly. I found games like Slender scarier. I found Five Nights at Freddy's scarier, personally. Until Dawn wasn't as bad for me, just because it felt more like a 80s slasher movie, and the 80s slasher films are not as scary for me because the slasher films you can only take seriously up to a certain point, you know, and so that's why it wasn't as scary to me. And I think part of that is because after watching Scream, you kind of look at the 80s slasher films not as seriously as you may have done before. So they ended up not being as scary to me after I watched the Scream series, basically. Because Scream likes to poke fun at the genre. And I end up, I guess, doing that a little bit in my head and even verbally when I played Until Dawn. But it was good, though, that it wasn't as scary, because I felt like if it was too scary, I wouldn't have been able to finish the game. I think it was scary enough that I had my thrills, but still was able to thoroughly enjoy the game. It was like the perfect balance between scariness and not scariness. Gotta do a shower and stuff later, guys. See you, Peto Kiss. What is your favorite cooking show? Ooh, that one's a good question. I love Chopped. I love Chopped. I really love the show. There was a show, The Worst Cooks in America, just because I love watching people like develop and grow and find something that they used to be horrible at, and just watching their self-esteem and their confidence build over time when you take somebody who's horrible at cooking and ends up being a phenomenal chef by the end. Just seeing that transformation is very uplifting to me. I don't like cooking shows where you have to be like, I guess, where you have to be cutthroat to the other players, like Cutthroat Kitchen. In general, I don't like reality shows or game shows where you're supposed to like be cutthroat with the other players. That's just not my cup of tea. It's not something that I enjoy watching. So Cutthroat Kitchen are things that I'm not really a fan of. I enjoy, Iron Chef. I enjoy the classic ones, especially back the ones that they did in Japanese. I mean, I enjoy parts of things like what is it? Restaurant Nightmares or Kitchen Nightmares. I'm not a huge fan of Gordon Ramsay, just because he gets a little bit over the top for me. I don't look up to people who use their nastiness to empower people. I'd rather that people empower each other through encouragement and just being, you don't have to be nasty to someone to encourage them and to inspire them or to empower them. And I feel that Gordon Ramsay uses nastiness too much. And I know a lot of it is because he's playing it up for a show. You're trying to get good ratings over a show, so you're kind of dramatizing it up. Sort of like Simon Cowell in the American Idol show. He kind of plays it up a little bit, I feel, just to help with the ratings. And so things like that I'm not a big fan of, but I do like parts of the second half, pretty much the second half of like Kitchen Nightmares or restaurant, whatever the restaurant show does, where Gordon Ramsay comes in and helps the restaurant become successful. The second half I like, because it's really cool to actually see the restaurant make a 180 and turn around to become successful again and work with their things. But all of the, spitting out the food and like telling them that they're terrible, like awful. Even if it's true, I'm not entertained by that. That's not the kind of thing that I want to watch on TV. So the second half of those kind of shows is what I find uplifting. You can sometimes download voices for your sat-nav. Imagine if your sat-nav had Morgan Freeman's voice, for example. I don't know what a sat-nav is. What's a sat-nav? I'm a bit peeved at Until Dawn cutting 2 characters chapter off. Ooh, whose characters did they cut off? I didn't know about that. Do you prefer more plot twists or more conflict? One that isn't repetitive when playing a game. More plot twists. Yeah, I'm not a conflict is not something I enjoy watching. You know, I don't enjoy watching conflict. This sounds boring, and it probably is for many people, but if I just watched a show where people were like getting along and doing things for each other and doing like cutesy things and lovey-dovey things for each other, I would enjoy that. I think that would be super fun. I don't think I would enjoy that in the show all the time, but I would be perfectly cool with it, with an episode to go through without any like major conflicts. And that, I understand conflicts is what makes things interesting. It what keeps the storyline going. But I feel like I would rather have too little conflict than too much conflict. For me, the lesser of the two evils is too little conflict. So I prefer plot twists way more than conflict. I feel like that is way more entertaining for me than plot twist is a device that is way more entertaining for me than a conflict, by hands down. Favorite movie or TV show? Favorite movie, Back to the Future. Back to the Future is probably my favorite movie of all time, along with the Toy Story trilogy. I know that's a little bit cheating, but the entire Toy Story trilogy as a trilogy is amazing. Just like I also believe that the entire trilogy of Back to the Future, all 3 of them, is amazing. So I'm going to answer the question, Back to the Future and the Toy Story. The Back to the Future trilogy and the Toy Story trilogy are my top 2 favorite movies and trilogies of all time. Favorite TV show? I mean, it depends on, like I guess, it depends on what age, but favorite TV show of all time is definitely DuckTales. I mean, it's such a great show, great animation, the story is timeless, it still holds up even now, and the music is catchy as anything. The theme song's catchy, and I really am liking the new reboot, and I really like what they do, but I still like the old one better. I prefer the older one, but I still enjoy the reboot. Other favorite shows, Buffy, love Doctor Who, love Modern Family. I enjoy The Walking Dead. I wouldn't say that's one of my favorites of all times, though. Loved back in the day. I was a 90s kid, so I loved me some, I loved me some Tiny Toon Adventures. I loved me some Animaniacs. Way back in the 80s, there was this sitcom. It was really, the premise was really kind of campy and silly and cheesy and not, I wouldn't say cheesy, but I mean, looking back on it now, I can see why why people might poke a lot of fun and complain about the sitcom. But it was definitely one of my favorite sitcoms as a little kid was Small Wonder. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Small Wonder. Back in the early 80s, that was one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. And also this random sitcom, Mama's Family. That was like in the late 80s, early 90s. As a kid, I really enjoyed that show a lot. Part of it was probably because one of the characters, Bubba Higgins, I had a major crush on even before I realized I was into boys. I feel like Bubba was one of my earliest crushes. Other guilty pleasure shows from the early 90s, Captain Planet. Love Captain Planet. I think my biggest animated crush was on that show, Wheeler. He's a ginger, he's a redhead. Yeah, Wheeler was my biggest animated crush from way back then. Saved by the Bell, huge Saved by the Bell fan. Back in the day, the original. Yes, I'm more on Team Zach Morris than I am Team Slater. Was never really, Slater never really did it for me, I guess. Mario Lopez is a very good-looking young man. He's just not my type. But man, he looks great even now. That guy is not aged. Anyway, those are some of my favorite TV shows. Hopefully that helped you out. And the problem is, this isn't really a problem, but I didn't have cable growing up. We didn't have cable, so I didn't have any of the Cartoon Network. I didn't have any of the Disney Channel. I didn't have any of those shows until college. Because in college, everybody had you had cable by default. And in college, I mean, I loved me some Kim Possible. I loved me some That's So Raven. Those were the shows. Yeah, pretty much Kim Possible and That's So Raven were the shows that I watched a lot back in the day in college. And I will admit, as a kid, I was a big giant Power Rangers fan. I mean, when you were in that age at the time, who wasn't, I guess, especially when they first came out. People like Gordon Ramsay just think so much of their cooking skill that it gets in their head, in my opinion. It's not because you're really good at things that you can just smack people down who are worse than you. It's just but that's just my honest opinion. I agree with you there, Joey. If you were given a color choice between red and yellow, which would you say is closer to orange? It is a blend of the two, you know. I mean, red I think is closer to orange. I feel like it's easier to mistake orange for red than it is to mistake orange for yellow, depending on the light. But if you were to ask me which of the two colors I prefer between red and yellow, hands down yellow. Just because I feel like red is such an overrated color. Red is used in so many things. People like red. So many people like red, just like so many people like blue. I feel like red and blue are very overrated, and there isn't enough yellow. So I love yellow. It's very bright. It's very in your face. It's a color of friendship. So yellow is definitely up there. Probably my second favorite color next to orange. Satnav is shorthand for satellite navigation. Oh, thank you. The GPS you can use in your car. Thank you. If I was to set Satnav, though, it would probably not be Morgan Freeman. I love Morgan Freeman, but for someone speaking to me, if someone was speaking to me, Morgan Freeman has a nice voice, but I would much rather have the voice be like Steve Valentine, who's the voice of Alistair. I would much prefer Steve Valentine to be my Satnav voice. Or, oh gosh, I forgot his name. The guy, or Scott Porter. What am I thinking? Or Scott Porter. If Scott Porter voiced in my Satnav, that'd be amazing. Or the guy who plays Cullen, that would be cool too. Or, yeah, I mean, the list probably goes on and on and on. But definitely, so Steve Valentine could, like, narrate my life, I would be set. Alistair. Did you think Mike went too far when he pulled the gun on Emily? Yes, absolutely. Yes. I love Mike to death, but yeah, I was not gonna let him slide. That was not cool, what he did to Emily. No matter how nasty Emily is. I mean, he did it to two people who were unarmed. Yeah, totally. Yes. It doesn't matter that Mike was my favorite character. Like, totally upset that he did that. Went too far. Not gonna condone that in any way. Any chance you could play Deus Ex? It's been on my radar. I was not a huge fan of the original game. It didn't resonate with me that well. I mean, I finished it, but at the end it felt like a chore. I just wanted to get it done. And I found it to be an okay game. Not to say that the next game is necessarily going to be, you know, not more enjoyable, but I don't have the motivation to really play it at the moment, so most likely no. Just because I wasn't that huge of a fan of the original Deus Ex. But there are a lot of other games that I am excited to play. Let me just say that there are a lot of games on my plate that I'm way more excited to play than Deus Ex. No mention of Doctor Who. I said Doctor Who. I did say Doctor Who. Doctor Who was definitely up there. Power Rangers, high five. Fun fact, there's an orange Power Ranger. I know, SPD. I believe there was an orange Power Rangers in Power Rangers SPD. I love Bridge, by the way. Bridge is one of my favorite Power Rangers in SPD. So cool. And, because it's the buttery. Buttery is my favorite thing. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just ignore me. But Bridge and his butteriness amazing. Love him to death. How about a sat nav that sounded like Wheatley from Portal 2? Yes! Yes! Very much yes! Totally yes! Wheatley, love that betraying little... love it. Is there any other questions? This is the last call for questions, Q&A. Otherwise, I'm gonna peace out and call it a day. Going once, going twice. Okay. Well, just wanted to say thank you so much to Keiki, Joey, Perfect Portal, and the Avenger. Thank you guys so much for watching and for hanging out till the very end. As always, you don't have to do that, but I totally appreciate that. And I guess I will see you guys next time when we finish this series, episode 5, the final episode of Guardians of the Galaxy, hopefully with less inner family drama. Oh, Drax, rest in peace, my friend, and rest in peace, Nebula. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, love yourselves and love each other. Bye.